Welcome back. You're still watching Rapid Down right here on Rapid Television. And of course, you just watched some of the sporting updates there. I do apologize that we've given you that particular episode for quite some time now. But of course, we're working towards giving you more updates in the world of sports. My name is Victor. Okay.
And my name is Martha. Hello, good morning to you. We have had an amazing morning so far. And of course, one more hour until we get into the big Friday. So, of course, I'm definitely happy about it.
Why did John go Friday?
Because I want to be there.
You took the rush. Well, of course, we have lots of conversation outlined for you this morning. This week, all around the world is being referred to as the Customer Service Week, where we're celebrating customer service. And of course, it is a time set aside to appreciate the people who serve and support customers every single day. Now, customer service goes beyond answering phone calls or replying to emails. And that's, of course, what we know about customer service most times. But we get to find out that it's about how a business makes you feel. In today's fast-paced world, where one bad experience can go viral in seconds, good customer service has become the real backbone of every successful brand. But how much value do Nigerian businesses place on customer service today? Do customers even get the respect and attention that they deserve? And how can companies build stronger relationships with their clients in an age of automation and AI? And these are questions that we're asking. Joining us this morning to break it all down is Joshua Adeshina, the Abuja Regional Manager of PU Prime, as we talk about customer service week this week, and why great service is everyone's business. Once again, good morning, Joshua.
Good
to have you here.
Good morning, Joshua.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah. Let's talk about customer service. First of all, break it down for us. What is customer service about?
All right, so customer service is all about how you make your clients feel whenever they come to your institution or organization. So, we have different sectors in this country or in an economy. So whenever a customer gets a service from you, now that customer should be happy that he's been able to maybe transact with you, or he's been able to, come in contact with you. Why? Because like you said earlier, it's the backbone of any company that wants to grow or any company that wants to build loyalty. Because right now, there are competitors everywhere. And one thing that will make anybody to stand or any organization to stand is if you can just break through in getting your customers loyal. So how you make them feel is what customer service is all about. How you are able to respond to them, get feedback from them, not just just giving them their needs. Get feedback so you know how to improve, because customer service thrive in improvement.
Okay, and why is the week customer service why is it important?
Okay, so it's it's very, very important, right? Because at times, I don't want people to just have this mindset of, it's just another day, let's say, World this day, World that day, so we just while away time. Now it's important, why? Because we need to celebrate the front line people that are helping, clients in any organization, maybe in the banking sector, in the hospital sector, whatever sector it is, celebrating the frontline caregivers or people that give the service, and not just celebrating them only, but to let both individuals and the public know that customer service can be improved worldwide. Don't just stay at the level of yesterday, because that could be, mediocrity.
Right.
Okay. Now, in a place like Nigeria, where I don't want to project us like lawless people, but we know what happens in the Nigerian system, both in hospitality, transportation, where people literally, you engage the services of these people and they literally feel like they're doing you a favor. We see that many times. What do you think is wrong with the customer service infrastructure of most organizations here in Nigeria?
Okay, now the thing is this. Right now in Nigeria, first I would like to say this, we're trying. Now, the reason why I say we're trying as a country is this. Compared to maybe the last 5 years, 10 years, things are getting better, but we're not there yet.
Okay.
Now, the thing that is lacking there is this. For any organization to get this right, there has to be, investment in constant training of the staff, of people that interface with this, we call them clients, customers, whatever. There has to be, constant training. So that constant training has to be there. And two, right now, sadly, in many organizations, maybe in Nigeria and even globally, they just see customer service as another department. They don't look at it as an investment. Let me say something. Do you know that a customer or a client that you have succeeded in gaining his loyalty, that is like an unpaid advert for you as a company? So those are kind of resources that I think if we should build on, right, in any space, but government and, public sector, private sector, right, I want to believe, right, that we'll get better services and we'll see company even grow more.
Okay. Yeah. So when they say that in Nigeria, we have this saying that customer is always right or customer is king. And that's the first thing we talked about when you got into the studio. Right? Because I feel like that is being abused. Yeah. If you have run a business here in Nigeria successfully, you know that there's a thin line between going crazy and maintaining your sanity. Especially because customers will test you.
Right.
But you see, they always have this defense where they say customer is always right. Even if you go anywhere, they'll still tell you the same thing. Is your customer is always right. Now, what's the thin line between breaching the rights of the person you are patronizing and demanding that you are being given your rights?
Now, I think, let me take us back a little, because some of us, we don't really know what we want. I want everybody to think about it. As a customer, as a client, do you want to feel like you are right all the time, or you want to feel respected? I don't know if you get it. So I think the right word to use is, customers should be respected. Because if you say customers are always right, customers are not there when, you are with the R&D department where you are trying to bring up new products or make things better. Most of the times, if you just dance to the tune of your customers, I regret to tell you that you may not even serve them better. Because at times they require an external factor or an external force to give them what they want.
Have you met a woman trying to shop?
Oh my God. Don't go there.
She had the red color in mind to buy, but when she goes this, the pink is fine. What do you think? Does the pink look good on me or the red looks good on me? So at that point, your input is necessary, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So how do you address that input? Because that's what we are trying to talk about.
Exactly.
We cannot deny the fact that some business owners are actually rude. Not them being rude, but the people that they hire to front their businesses. I'll give you an example. I really like Puff Puff. Anyone that knows me knows that. Small chops, I really love it.
Me too.
So you do. So there's this place where we go to get these small chops. And on one of those days, I noticed that I had bought a stale one. And I didn't like the stale one for any reason. Nobody should ever have to eat stale small chops. Do you get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I had the stale small chops, and then I went back to where I got the small chops, and I was trying to speak to the lady there, and I'm like, you gave me stale small chops the other day. The guy there happened to apologize, right? And after he had apologized, I went back the other day. And then when I came back the next day, because of my previous experience with them, I had said, I bought a stale small chops yesterday. So is this small chops fresh or it's stale? And then the lady picked an offense, saying, we don't sell stale small chops here.
But you just bought stale.
Well, I just bought stale. Now, the second day, I will always ask, because of my past experience, if I go there to get it, I must always ask, do you have a small, is this stale or this is a fresh one? And the lady will always pick an offense with that. Now, I'm giving you a very practical example. How would you deal with such a situation as this? Because this is a customer and this is someone fronting your business. And you as a business owner, you are charged with the responsibility of preserving the integrity of the person that is fronting your business and making sure that you sustain your customer. How do you draw the line or you strike a balance?
All right. So before I answer that, sorry, I have a lot to say because this is like my juice. Like, I love this. Now, like I said earlier, if you remember, training those people, it's key. But sadly in Nigeria right now, when we're talking about customer service, if you do like a survey and you go around, you might just notice is this quote unquote corporate organization that maybe are celebrating it or doing training.
Yeah.
Trust me. Do you know, as sorry to say, the dispatch rider even, he renders a service.
He does.
Do you understand? So people like that too has to be trained. So the best way, to address those things is in training, You know, there are things that you can treat a customer and make him feel, he or she feel like he's right.
Yeah.
And training would make that person to know that, right, whatever they ask you, you know, there are lines, obviously, but questions regarding your service, let's not be sentimental about it. Some people just love to pick offense because, for whatever reason, because of this part of the world, there's even if you go there 10 times, 20 times, and you still ask the same question, hey, customer, in that case, you are right to ask.
Of course.
You are right to ask. So a way out or a solution is for us to consciously train these people. Don't just look at it that, oh, I'm just selling, maybe small shops out there, or I'm just in a restaurant out there, or I do this, or I do that. You guys have been online. On Twitter, you just see some people dragging some people. You are on there, like you have been telling them that, oh, maybe I did this transfer and it's not going. And for days, hours, blah, blah, blah. It's not resolved until you drag them online.
Then they come to resolve it.
Before they resolve it, at least, may I say it in my mind, like, at least we thank God that after dragging them, they still resolve.
But why do you have to wait until you're being dragged?
That's to tell you that there is a loophole in the system that we're not there yet. Like, it's a journey. So whether I like it or not, I believe we'll get there. The reason why I say we'll get there is this: whether I like it or not, if you're company A, I'm company B, she's company C. Company B is a globally, minded company. You travel to London, any part of the world, the kind of customer service that they render is what I want to give. Right. So if you can't match up to my standard, you lose your customers. So sooner or later, you would also invest in it if you don't want to go out of business. Right. Do you understand? So it's something that companies or government organizations, right, that open their minds up to this earlier, the better, right? They would stay longer in the market or in the space where they are, right, and they'll grow from there.
Now you've talked about training. Let me give you two scenarios. First, for the telecom industry and maybe the aviation industry. Now, if you've ever been to a telecom industry or one of the companies or their outlets, so you want to do a SIM swap, right, and they ask you to wait for various hours, and then they walk out and say to you, you have to come back tomorrow. You know how painful that is. First of all, you sat down there, you stopped everything that you needed to do for the day just because you wanted to get this particular issue resolved. And then after spending maybe 6 or 7 hours, they come out and say, please come back tomorrow. You get onto the aviation industry, you booked a flight for, say, 8 a.m. And then you are there 7 a.m. because you don't want to be late for your flight. And you stay there 7 a.m., 8 a.m., 9 a.m., and then they come to tell you your flight has been rescheduled for either 4 p.m. that very day or even the next day, 8 a.m., without prior information. Now, these are multinationals, and it is safe to assume that these guys are trained properly. Now, even with all of this training, and it's not reflecting in the outcome or even in the delivery of their customer service representatives, why is this still so in 2025?
We like to assume in this part of the world.
Actually.
I used to tell people in my field or people that follow me, I said, any information that you get or you believe you have gotten and doesn't show in your action, you've not gotten it. If you claim to be a doctor and after how many years you spent in the university or whatever, right, you came out and you're still asking some kind of basic question, we should question you.
Right.
So the first thing is, let's not assume. Like I said, it still falls back to the core problem that we have here. Many of our companies have not seen this as an investment. If you invest in your, what do you call it now?
Customer service.
Your customer service personnel or the people that get to meet with your client one-on-one, you'll get good results. But however, there's something that I normally say with everything that you try to do for good, there are some certain lapses, even in the training, because it seems like I've been saying training
exactly.
since I got here. Let me say this. There are some companies that they have invested a lot in training their staff. In fact, send them abroad and everything. Sadly, in this part of the world, before you know it, you sent your staff to the UK or to Europe to do. Let's even say he came back.
Yeah.
First, his eye has opened, and before you know it, whether you like it or not, that your own intention for training that person so that it will serve you better and also serve your people better.
Yeah.
But we're having a kind of problem whereby it tells you that, sir, after a year or two, I think we have to...
But how do you bridge that gap? Because that is some of the problems that some companies are facing.
Yeah.
And that's the reason why it seems like training is not really being paid so much attention.
Yes.
Because they train a person, like using your word, their eye open.
Yeah.
You know, they leave your company to another company.
Yeah.
How do you strike a balance to ensure that if I train this individual for this role in my company, how does this person stay with me for a period of time before I let him go?
Before we even let him answer that question, one thing I have seen with this is the fact that because you send them out to train them,
Yes.
does not mean you would not pay them what they deserve.
Of course.
Because much as you spent your money training them, they
They
also
improved.
spent their time
Exactly.
learning what they were being trained. So I think one of the major issues is these companies send them out. Imagine that they were earning 100,000.
Yeah.
How many of them even earn 100,000? Imagine that they were earning 100,000 before they went on that training, and they came back, and you still want to pay them 100,000 because you paid for that training. How do you bridge that?
Balance both their
that?
pay, paying them their worth, and of course maintaining their services.
Yeah.
All right, so it's a good one. Thank God we're celebrating the
The
customer
work, yes.
service week this first week of October. Now, a way to balance this is this: as a company, you don't just fold your hand and say that, okay, because the people I'm training, we're having a kind of turnover where they have to leave, right?
Yeah.
You keep training, see it as an investment. And now there are some things that we would say, a consultant will handle this issue. So for example, all these things can be in category. Let's pick the high-end category. So people that you want to maybe send abroad or something like that, you might just draw up a clause before they start. That will sort that. It might not have to be traveling abroad. It might just have to be a company in Abuja here sending one person to company B under a kind of written agreement.
Right.
He learns from there and he comes and replicates it here. And another thing again is what you don't give priority to, there's no way you can see it actually work in your company.
Actually.
A lot of us were more focused on, how's the sales or how's the service, what's coming in for the company and all that. As important as that is, also look at, okay, how did we deliver our services this week? For people in the telco space, they have been doing awesome. They should get more hands. If you get more hands to do the job, the better it will be for you. Do you understand?
Yeah.
So before, I know, like I said, it's a it's a process, right? Maybe before, as a company, you train 1 or 2 persons, you can increase that number. At least, worst comes to the worst, right? You still get those good number, replicate on others, right? And make sure that these things are being rewarded appropriately.
Okay.
And let it also be checks and balances as well. So when things like that are being put in place, we'll get a better society, we'll get a better output. And another thing again is, let's look for, now this is the difficult part. This is what nobody is talking about.
Yeah.
Let's look for a way to properly sensitize every vendor, maybe the Instagram vendor or the WhatsApp vendor or whatever, maybe the vendor out the street. Let them also know that one-man business, he's doing everything. He should know. As we're talking about company, he should be able to consciously put some things in to enable him, serve the people he meets. Some people, your attitude is just bad. Even the attitude of the client is bad. The attitude of the customer and the salesperson, everything is bad. So everything just explodes. That's not supposed to be.
Okay.
With everything supposed to be, amicable.
Yeah.
Training would enable the service, the person rendering the service, to understand that I should be able to relate well with these people.
Yeah.
I should be the one. I should expect anything from this set of people. Let me give you a story.
Okay.
I heard of, sorry to take your time, I heard that they're giving me an example of a customer service representative in a bank. This person was trying to, explain to the client, maybe it was scammed or whatever, that this is what happened, this is what happened. Before you know it, because she was talking calm and everything, it happened in Lagos.
Okay.
The customer just out of anger and annoyance just slapped.
Are you serious?
Just slapped
The rep?
The rep. In the bank, everybody was just,
Whoa.
at the, the saving grace of that person was, they were just telling this, at the end, they came to interfere and they thanked this person that,
Yeah.
thank God you didn't match up this person's
Energy.
vibe or energy, because
Otherwise.
it would have been chaos.
Yeah. It's the Quam 2 scenario as well.
Quam 1, Quam 2 scenario.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the aviation
Yeah,
section. That's
yeah,
what happened recently.
Recently,
So it was
true.
more like aura for aura.
Aura for aura.
Yeah.
But I've always maintained that the service providers were the ones in the wrong, because no matter how crazy a customer is, right? I don't think any customer is just. I know some customers can be really crazy,
Or they could be.
but I don't think any customer is just intentionally disrespectful to us. And I'll tell you what, if you go to restaurants, right? I'm saying this now, and I'm sure that a lot of women out there would be able to
Relate with it.
corroborate this story. If you go out to a restaurant with a man, right? Many times, the way you have experienced it,
Yeah.
the waitress there or most of the people serving tend to give little to no regard for the woman who is
Right.
seated there. I can remember one time I went out with a friend. I was actually going to be the one to pay for that lunch.
Well, you're the woman.
Because I was the one who said, let's go. I was going to pay for the lunch, actually. But the servers there automatically just thought somehow that, oh, it's just a woman, so she's not. And
Yeah.
then the body language towards you is very different to what a man does. At what point did your training specify that the woman does not deserve to be regarded in customer service?
Okay, so, like I said, it boils down to what we've been talking about,
Yeah.
because adequate training would make that person to know. Because some of these people, right, it's, sorry to say, they bring their personal issues to work. Which is not supposed to be so. Now, we get that a lot in this part of the world, right? People they feel like because you are, maybe you walk into a 5-star restaurant or an hotel, right? And maybe the person serving you, maybe for some reasons, can't afford it. Because you can afford it, that's a personal issue even.
Yeah.
Yes.
So that's a personal
That's
issue.
part of the reason.
I'm saying it's a personal issue. So people shouldn't bring personal issues
So work.
to work, especially in the hospitality sector, because you can get that alone. People could just have assumptions. That, oh, they don't come again. Oh.
This girl is like,
they don't come again.
yeah,
I think I was in a place whereby I think I went out with someone, and normally I just try to behave like, I'm not seeing them or I'm not hearing, but my ears are always on ground. You say that, they don't chop this one money again. Or, really? I'm serious. I heard that. And
Were you a regular in that place?
Yeah.
Okay.
So, but the thing
were they
is,
really chopping your money?
so the thing is, it's not, you can do whatever you want as a customer. So that's why I say training. The person serving me, he should be happy that I'm coming.
Yes.
Regardless of the
Regardless of the
Exactly.
situation. So, like I said, training would make a lot of people know that they are bringing sentiment into this.
Yeah.
Now, on the part of company, you train, you hire more staff, and the part of the staff as well, you drop down sentiment, and you put on the attitude of someone that is ready to serve. You want to make sure that someone calls into your company or someone walks into your organization. I want that person to thank God or to be grateful for meeting you. How is the experience? Imagine a client always coming, oh, if it's not Mr. XYZ, I don't want. That's the kind of thing that it should be like a goal within the organizational goal. As as a staff, you should be like, everybody I'm going to talk to today, regardless of how difficult they would be or they should be, I'm going to put up a good attitude. It comes from training.
Right.
That wouldn't come if you don't even. Some people just do their work on autopilot. Yeah, it's not done, with deliberate act and consciousness.
And I think this is what is lacking in a lot of businesses, because of a truth, some companies take a lot of time to train the staff members, but they don't have the right attitude towards work. Imagine someone walking into your restaurant and saying that, I'll give another example. I went into the restaurant, right, with a senior friend. And then when we got there, it was a very professional setting. But the server said, this is good for somebody of your age. Now, this meal is good for someone of your age. At the time when the person was offended by what was being said, right, I was like, you're thinking it too much. But now when he took out time to explain, he says, listen, let me tell you, this person I'm with can be anybody.
Yeah.
It can be a young lady I'm trying to woo, right? Saying that this is something good for my age would not help my situation at that time. One. Secondly, you are in no position to assume what age I am and to determine what is good for me or not. I probably will know that what I'm ordering is not good enough for me, but I have decided that that's what I want to eat anyways. We all live once, you get. And so these remarks also, because much as we are trying to blame some of the organizations, saying these organizations don't train, some of these staff members also they don't learn. And which will bring me to my next question. Recently, we had a case with Decca George. I don't know if you have seen her, but the lady was everywhere on TikTok because she bought a hair from a vendor. The vendor advertised a certain quality of hair to her online and delivered something else offline, right? And the lady was demanding that, I bought this hair from you. This is the picture that you showed me. This is what came. I demand a refund of my money, or you give me exactly what I paid for.
Exactly.
Now, Nigerians started to twist the story by saying, you are paying 200,000 naira for human hair. You too, you are a thief. You know why I say that's a problem? You advertised it for that amount of money, but you, the owner of the business, is a criminal,
of course,
right? But she went on and on and on for 30 days, dragging the lady. She did banners. She even wrote a song just to drag the lady. Now, the lady said something. We don't do refund in our business. That they have no refund policy. And this no refund policy is one thing that has dragged both business owners and the customers and consumers from businesses. Because if you say you do no refund policy, which means regardless of what you are giving to me, I don't get a refund. How can we balance this? Because I feel like some of these policies within that business owners put in place to protect their business, they think, is also detrimental to the customer and the consumer. How do you balance this?
Okay, so it comes from feedback, right? Because one thing I've been trying to get across out there today is, in as much as companies or business owners have what their responsibility, the customers still have their own responsibility as well. So how to balance that is, when you get feedback, you're irrespective of, there are some businesses where, refund could literally crumble the business.
How do you mean?
Yeah. So let me give you an example. Customer gets a product from you, and for some reason, the customer didn't get to return it maybe after maybe 2 days or 3 days. And as a business owner, you'd have sold that product, or you'd have worked on it. That's one instance. Or let's even say that you are a service provider, which is even more difficult. Difficult in the sense that you have already rendered the service and the person is not satisfied. Now, you've already spent money to render that service. You can't, doing a refund would send you back to the village. Now, don't get me wrong, I'm not saying that businesses shouldn't do that. But what I'm saying is that depending on the sector, because we're trying to talk broad right here, not just a particular sector, depending on the sector that you're dealing with or you are in, right, you should be able to say, okay, let's have this policy, let's have that policy. And there are, like in Abuja right now, there are places you walk into before you even do any transaction. You see it on the wall, no refund. So people like that can do that in business. Someone is about to make a transfer and before you do the confirmation or before you even, as you're sending the account number, just beneath you write that, okay, in this company, there are no refunds. So the customer would, in his or her mind, would like, okay, do I want to go ahead with this? You have the choice to back down because there are other options.
What if the fault is not from the customer, as at the case of the scenario she just painted?
Because
this
no
is coming
refund is a red flag.
You know, this is coming from the person who is selling the product. What you advertise is different from what you sent out or what you sold to the person, and the person paid exactly the price that you put in there.
But you have a no refund policy.
So how do you now solve that?
And you are not even willing to give what you had
advertised.
So that's clearly on the part of the the business, right? So now no refund, even with the no refund policy, if it doesn't match with what was being paid for, it's already a breach of contract, right? So she is right to call demand. Why? Because it comes back to our customer always right. In this case, the customer is right because of what she paid for. Even if as the business owner is that bad that if you advertise something for maybe 2 million naira, and everybody knows that the cost of that stuff, maybe hair, is 2 million naira, and because you say you are doing sales or this kind of stuff,
the biggest scam in this century.
You are doing sales, so from 2 million naira, you want to sell it for 200,000, right? And people pay for it, and you are now giving them something worth of 200,000. It's wrong. It's wrong. So, and that leads to the other part of this. Now, the government should have, which there is actually, a place whereby you could lodge your complaint against that such individuals, because not everybody would do. Sadly, not everybody would do what they need to do.
Absolutely.
So you should be able to go and say, okay, this is what I've done, and present your proof, and the agency would,
we'll take it up from there.
We'll take it up from there.
All right, Joshua. Well, of course, we're still having a conversation centered around the Customer Service Week, and so much has been shared with us here by our guest, Joshua Adeshina, the Abuja Regional Manager, PU Prime. And of course, we have more questions to ask him, but we'll do that after this break. Do stay with us.